Hello, everybody, and welcome back to B Movie Euphoria. We'll just call it a review, seeing as the movie that I'm actually reviewing wasn't on a VHS or it wasn't on. Well, we could call it a streaming movie, but anyway, let's just get to it. So, it's been a while since I made a video. Um, Things have happened. The world is changing, hopefully for the better. We have people standing up for black rights. We have people standing up and saying we don't want our sons and our brothers and our friends getting shot in the street anymore, which seems pretty reasonable to me, and it seems like it's about fucking time, and thank God. Also, we have COVID-19 still happening, going crazy. Um, it's going to be going on for a while. I think we all know that. So please wear a mask when you're in public, when you're around other people, when you don't feel good. Just wear a mask. And my recommendation is maybe stay away from restaurants and bars and, sadly, movie theaters. But I do recommend going to the drive-in. I absolutely recommend that because how fucking safe is the drive-in? How much more safe can you get than a drive-in? You pull up in your car, maybe you open the window to pay for your ticket with the guy wearing the mask, you wear your mask, then you go to the movie, you listen to the movie in your car, you get to watch it on the big screen. So needless to say, I've been to the drive-in that's near me quite a bit since it opened back up. And they're playing classic movies. The Getty 4. I love the place. A little pissed that they haven't picked up the touring Grindhouse releasing group of movies, which is like Evil Dead and I Drink Your Blood and just some really good stuff. So this is my call out to Getty 4. Let the public see those movies. We're dying to see a really good classic horror movie. And they are showing like Batman and Superman and all those movies, which I love those movies. The original Superman, I watched it, I was like, holy shit, this is still amazing. The original Batman, of course, one of the all-time great superhero movies. Speaking of that, there's news today. I don't know if it's true or not. There's news that Michael Keaton is going to be reprising his role as Bruce Wayne in the new Flash movie. And I'm very excited, but I'm also like, is this going to happen? Who knows? Because they talked about him doing a Beetlejuice sequel for a really long time. I'm glad that did not happen, but him playing Bruce Wayne in another movie, that sounds really, really good. What else? We lost Joel Schumacher today, director of Batman and Robin and The Lost Boys and 8mm and a lot of great films and a lot of bad ones. So we're going to miss his contribution to the movies, because I know I have at least 5 or 6 of his movies in this wall, and we've all seen movies that we love of his, and yeah, so rip Joel Schumacher. Anyway, so today's movie is FANT4STIC. Okay, I just was offered by my cell phone company. I'm not going to say their name. They make enough money. It's fine. An unlimited plan. I took it, and so apparently I now have Disney Plus. And so as soon as I clicked on there, I had done a free trial of Disney Plus before, so I could watch The Mandalorian, which is fantastic. I really like it. And Disney is huge, evil, scary corporation, but God, I love those movies. Anyway, so the first movie that I saw being advertised when I clicked on Disney Plus was Fantastic Four, or FANT4STIC, which I kind of like that title a little bit more, so that's what I'm going to call it from now on, FANT4STIC. I avoided this movie for a while because of the really bad reviews and just like all the basically everybody was just saying one thing. It was a unified voice all over the internet saying nothing happens in this movie. And I was really confused when I heard stuff like that because I'm like, how could nothing happen in an hour 40 long minute movie? Like something has to happen, obviously, and they have. It seems like they have a budget, so they must have spent it on something. Anyway, so I avoided it for a while. Also, I'm so sick of superhero movies. I'm not gonna lie, they have just gotten progressively more just stupid. Like some are really good, like the most recent Thor was great, and the Spider-Man I liked. It's just they're all just kind of melding into one for me, and there's nothing really special about them. The last Avengers movie, my God, it was so boring. It was so just, ugh. And I actually, okay, I walked out of one of the Captain Americas. I think it was Winter Soldier. It was just like the exchange between um Captain America and Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury, and Nick Fury said some kind of line about, well, they were arguing about like trust and something, and he goes, "The last time I trusted somebody, I lost this eye," and I was like, is this parody? Because it was so funny to me that I was like, this is dumb, and I had to leave. I had to leave the theater. It's terrible. Like I actually got my money back, so nice. Anyway, so I went into Fantastic Four with an open mind, but also keeping in mind that everyone was saying nothing happens, it was boring, but I kind of liked it. And the reason, I'll give you my reasons. Number one, it feels like a B movie. And as you know, I'm a fan of B movies, but it feels like one of these, it just feels like clearly there was, I can't remember the director's name, but he had an idea and he had things that he wanted to do in his superhero movie. So he didn't want to follow all the tropes and do this and this and this and this, but he managed to make things interesting. Uh, because what you're expecting now in a superhero movie is, okay, we have the getting to know you part, then we have introduce the villain part, and then the villain causes mass destruction and a bunch of people die and stuff like that, and then you have the hero being like, okay, gotta fight this dude, gotta show off all my powers. Boom, 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 cities are destroyed. You get to see all the superhero, fantastic, great effects. And then the villain is killed in this outrageous, incredible fashion. And then you just feel like you just came in your pants because, bam, it's all over. So, why I think people kind of shat on this movie a lot, Fantastic Four, the new one, I'm saying. Well, it's like 5 years old now, but maybe 4. Anyway, the reason why people shat on it, and I understand it, is that, okay, so about nothing does really happen for about like the first hour. But I'm not saying nothing exactly happens. Reed Richards, as we all know, is Mr. Fantastic. He discovers this way to. He's very interested in transporting matter from one place to another. What he doesn't know is that because he builds this machine as a kid and he like transports a toy car, and where the toy car went, something comes back and it's like these rocks. He's like, oh, I'm transporting it to the desert. Okay, that makes sense. But it turns out he's actually transporting things to in another dimension, a world that they call Planet Zero. And so this is when he's like a teenager, when he finally finalizes his project. And that was a really weak part in the movie, him when he's in high school, because he has all these ideas, And like first there's a show and tell where in his class where he's like, and this is when he's really young, when he's supposed to say like what he wants to be when he grows up, and he says that he wants to transport matter from one thing to another, and he gets into it and he goes into the science of everything. And as a kid, okay, the kid actor's not very good. He's talking like this, and I think that eventually fine, okay, he could have been nervous, but the kid's not a great actor. Anyway, his teacher goes, okay, you do not get a grade for this class because we're not talking about fantasy stories. We're talking about real life. And then later at the science fair, he creates, like, he has a machine and he actually puts something in it. Uh, it disappears, and then one of the basketball hoops in the gym explodes, and then it comes back, but it's all fucked up because it's all crusty and stuff. And the teacher who's judging goes, "You're disqualified. We're not doing magic tricks in this hall." And it's just like, dude, even if he was doing a magic trick, he fucking made something disappear and reappear and did some incredible effects. That's still fucking science. So that was ridiculous. But at that same science fair, Sue Storm and her father, Franklin Storm, show up and they're like, "Hey, dude, we believe you. I want to give you a full scholarship." And so, oh, and at the whole time, his buddy, um, the guy who becomes the Thing, Ben is his buddy, and his friend isn't really smart or like scientifically savvy or anything, but he kind of he goes along eventually when they finally build the huge version of what he built. He decides to call his friend Ben up and he's like, I don't want to go without you, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because Ben has never been involved in any sort of scientific experimentation. So calling your friend who's really only experiences working in a junkyard, probably not a great idea, but they are doing it without the knowledge of the program that they're working under, so they have to do some shit on the down low. Sadly, when they do this, and when I say they, we got Sue Storm. Johnny Storm agrees to do it because he's like a bad boy, and his dad wants him to. Played very well by Michael B. Jordan, by the way, and his dad wants him to, like, come on, use your skills and your smarts and stuff. So he kind of convinces them to become part of the project, and when they decide to do the secret experiment, Johnny comes along. Sue comes along because she's huge, obviously. They didn't give Sue a lot to do, but she is the actress, does do a very great job. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names. I don't remember who played Mr. Fantastic either. Anyway, so they all, and of course we have Victor Von Doom, who just kind of is a very broody, kind of emo guy that started the program that they're all part of, but then left because he was angry about the world and stuff. Because, society is a society. And so they bring him back, and they all get into this big, what looks like an inverted gravitron. So they all sit in this thing, and then they get sent to the other dimension. Some bad shit starts going on right away, like big time, crusty stuff. And I have to say, the effects in this movie are pretty great. Like, I'm gonna say that, but also detract a point because the Thing, his design is kind of, it's hard to look at because he looks goofy and gravelly at the same time. He looks like a cartoon character, but if you just see bits of him, it's okay. But when they show the whole body and he just looks like a big kind of stone gorilla, that looks a little weird. But the Michael Chiklis version wasn't that much better. That one was pretty funny, though. I actually liked the early 2000s Fantastic Four And I don't really remember the sequel, but I'm sure that was fine too. But anyway, so they go to this planet, shit goes down bad, and they're all like radiated and stuff, and they have to leave Victor Doom because he falls off a cliff, and it's coming back though. Don't worry. Like, it's all very okay. They come back. They all have the powers, and the effects for Johnny Storm as the Human Torch, and Sue Storm as, I think she's the Invisible. I can't remember in the comics, but anyway, all that's really good, and I just love this stretchy guy. In comic books, I never really read them, but I always loved thinking about the stretchy guy. Like both Plastic Man and Mr. Fantastic. I was just like, oh, what a good, cool thing. Like, just to stretch your arm, like, just go underneath a door or something. Awesome. I always love seeing that effect. So, as much as they could show that, I wish they would have shown it a little bit more, just because it was so much fun to watch, and I just like it. Anyway, they all decide that after a lot of hubbub, which takes a little bit too long, honestly, they decide they need to go back to this dimension so they can find out how to fix themselves or something, I guess. Anyway, they go back, and Doom's there, and he's still alive, and he's all fucked up because his spacesuit that he was wearing fused to his fucking face, and it is fucking cool. Okay, as far as villains go, introducing your main villain, at the like hour and 10-minute mark, probably not a great idea, because there was a whole lot of buildup in this movie and not a huge amount of conflict. But I'm not saying I don't like it. Anyway, so they bring Victor back, and he's fucking scary. I think so anyway. When they're working on him and everything, he's clearly, his whole suit is fused to his body, so it's like the kind of breathing mask thing has been fused to his face, and he has these glowing green eyes. He just looks like a burnt metallic corpse walking around, and then he starts walking down the corridors of this military facility, exploding people's heads, and it's cool. It's really fucking cool because obviously each of the Fantastic Four has their own specific powers, but Victor's powers are like, they're like god powers, where explode a head, make a wall fucking bat explode out, just anything. It seems like he can do anything. Anyway, I'm basically telling you the whole film, which should be telling you that there's not a lot to this movie, but I'm not saying it's a bad movie, because I enjoyed it, and I didn't walk away from it. I didn't get bored by it. I was interested to see what would happen. And as far as the climax, I'm going to leave that to you, whether or not you think a bad guy dying like that is okay or not. I like that it didn't use what you thought was going to happen, which is like big, dramatic death scene. I like that they didn't do a lot of like in the real world fighting, and it was all kind of contained to Planet Zero, and I just enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, and I thought everyone did a good job. The script was bad, but other than the kid version of Mr. Fantastic, the acting was pretty great. And yeah, so that's my review of Fantastic Four or FANT4STIC. I forgot already. It's on Disney Plus now. Get a free trial. Probably watch something before that. Maybe like Escape to Witch Mountain, which I watched also, and that's very fun. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Remember, wear your fucking mask when you're around others. Don't be an asshole. And remember, no justice, no peace. And Black Lives Matter. Fuck the police. All right, and that's all I have to say. I'll probably lose a couple subscribers, but that's okay, because fuck it. Life's about living, life's about loving, and life's about caring about everyone, no matter who they are. And it's just about being a good person. If you can be a good person, that you won. You won at life. All right, I love you guys. Bye.